everyone, it's Bronwyn from ECHCS again. So today we're talking about invisible disabilities. Are you aware that 9 out of 10 Australians living with a disability also have conditions or disabilities that are invisible? When you look on a global scale, 1 in 6 people live with a disability, including these I will list. Now that makes it 1.3 billion people globally that have a disability. Now you can see why the media is making it so obvious to the stats, and society is fighting left, right and centre to make these disabilities more prominent with knowledge in our society. So in the coming videos, I will look at some of these invisible disabilities as well as physical disabilities, but here's a list. And I am pretty sure 9 out of 10 of you are gonna go, wow, I have this condition, or I have this disability. So here's the list. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. Anxiety disorders, allergies, Asperger's syndrome. Now with Asperger's syndrome, it has been renamed ASD as a form of autism spectrum disorder. It is autism. It's just a different look at autism. In coming videos, I will actually go into detail of ASD, so sit tight and wait for those videos. Asthma, auditory impairment, bipolar disorder. Again, bipolar is a mental health condition or disability depending on how it impacts the person with bipolar, and we will be covering bipolar at a later date. Brain injury, chronic fatigue syndrome, celiac disease, Crohn's disease, depression, again being a mental health disorder, that will be covered in our videos on mental health. Endometriosis, epilepsy, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel disease, lupus, Lyme disease, migraines, multiple sclerosis. Now, multiple sclerosis is another thing that we will be covering at a later date. Primary immunity deficiency, rheumatoid arthritis, schizophrenia. Now, how many of you knew that schizophrenia and bipolar are linked? Vision impairment. Now, while some people wear contact lenses instead of glasses, that makes it an invisible condition. So moving forward, some things to consider when working with people or friends and family is just some considerations to have. If you know a person living with an invisible disability, ask them what they can and can't do. Most people living with an invisible disability will actually tell you. They're quite capable of saying, yes, I need help, or no, I don't. But also take into consideration that that person may feel embarrassed by one of these conditions and want to live as independent as possible, or don't know how to ask for support. Never force or convince someone to do something that they say they are unable to do. Looking at a good example is mental health. A lot of people with a mental health condition also have social and community phobias and anxieties. So they don't like to go into crowds. They don't like to be in settings where they feel uncomfortable. So it's working with those individuals so that they feel supported and they are heard. the biggest thing in having a disability is knowing that people are listening to them and not making decisions for them because they think they know best. Sorry to say it, but a person living with a disability, they know what's best for them. Encourage individuals living with an individual disability to participate in activities at a level they're comfortable with, and ask them how you can support them to participate. This is crucial, people. As someone who knows a lot about individual disabilities, it's about empowering the person with a disability, helping them see that they can achieve what they want to achieve. They can live a life as independent as possible. Now, what you can do is offer assistance if they want it. If they do, ask what they want you to do specifically. Be specific. With people with an invisible disability, they know what they need. And if they don't, they will tell you. Speak directly to them and not to those around them. By talking in a group with people, and one of them being with invisible disability, you are sidestepping their rights. They are a human, they have rights. Avoid handshakes as a default greeting. Smile and always be willing to communicate. Never distract service dogs. Now, this has been becoming a big thing in our society, that people with a disability will have companion dogs or cats. They will have assistant dogs and cats. I will cover what the difference is later in how to identify the difference. But that animal is working. Never ever approach the animal without seeking permission of its handler. Now, for people with auditory impairments, let the person establish their preferred form of communication, whether it be sign language, lip reading, notes. Let them set the pace. Talk to the person directly, even if they have an interpreter. Again, this comes back to human rights and the person feeling like they are important. You talk to an interpreter, you don't make eye contact with the person, you're shutting them out of the conversation. If the person lip reads, then face them directly. Talk at a pace that the individual is able to lip read at. Ask the person to repeat what they have said if you don't understand. Always, it's so important with these invisible disabilities. If you're not understanding what they want or what they need, and their needs come before your needs, then you are leaving them vulnerable. And vulnerability is so easy to happen in the community sector. People with a disability are more vulnerable to mistrust, abuse of power, and not seeking out their validation. Okay, people living with a cognitive impairment. So that's people that take longer to process information. So keep the communication simple. 1 or 2 step instructions. Rephrase statements if required. Never get frustrated with someone with a cognitive impairment that takes 5 or 10 minutes to process and understand what you are saying. Pay attention to what they are saying and how they respond to you. this is key. It allows for the individual to know they are being heard, but to also help you build a rapport with the individual. Be patient and give time to show or tell you what they want to communicate. So in saying that, that's just our first topic. I will be covering a lot of these areas in detail in videos to come. So I will do mental health, I will do autism spectrum, so that will be your Asperger's, your ASD level 1, your ASD level 2, your ASD level 3, and what that means for you as a worker or a family member, or even you to have a greater understanding as a individual that has ASD. We will also cover diabetes and epilepsy, as well as celiacs, Crohn's, inflammatory bowel, irritable bowel syndromes, and multiple sclerosis. So stay tuned, like and share our videos, and also check out our social media. We now have a new newsletter that goes out weekly. So feel free to jump on our Facebook page and see what is happening within ECHCS each week. Each week we do a spiel on our participants, as well as introduce you to our support staff across New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria. So bye for now, and I will talk to you on the next video.